Hey everyone, so you're diving into academic writing, and maybe it feels like you're trying to learn a whole new language, right? Like there's some secret code you just haven't cracked yet. Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to decode it all. We'll look at the common mistakes people make and figure out how to build arguments that are not just correct, but clear, powerful, and genuinely persuasive.
But first, I have to give a huge shout out to Dr. Abdul Karim for putting all this fantastic material together. Seriously, thank you. Now, just a quick heads up. Think of what we're doing here as a powerful boost for your studies, especially for getting a handle on English academic writing. It's meant to help you, but it's not a substitute for actually going to class. You know, being there and participating, that's where the real magic happens.
So let's just get right into it. Does academic writing sometimes feel like you missed the memo? Like everyone else got the secret rule book and you're just trying to figure it out as you go? You are not alone in feeling that way. For so many non-native English speakers, the pressure to be super precise and sound professional is, well, it's a lot. But don't worry. Today, we're going to break that code, piece by piece.
Okay, so let's imagine we're building a pyramid. You can't have a strong pyramid without a solid, unshakable base, right? Well, in academic writing, that base, that foundation, is getting the small stuff right. We're talking about precision and grammar, right down at the sentence level. These little details, they make a massive difference in how clear your work is and how much credibility you have.
Let's start with a classic one that trips a lot of people up, subject-verb agreement. You see a number, and your brain might just go, okay, that's singular. But wait, the real subject here is the whole phrase, a number of authors, which is actually plural. The verb has to agree with authors, not number. So it's always got to be authors have claimed. It's such a small fix, but it instantly makes your writing look more polished.
And here's another super common one, this time with articles like the. It's so tempting to write in the literature. But when you're talking about literature as this big general concept, you actually drop the. You just say in literature. You'd only use the if you were talking about, the specific literature on a very narrow topic you just mentioned. It's a tiny detail, but it shows a real command of the language.
Okay, this next one is a huge hurdle for a lot of non-native English speakers. Uncountable nouns. Words like research, information, evidence, advice, they don't have a plural form. You can't have researches or evidences. It just doesn't work that way in English. Instead, you'd have to say something like pieces of evidence or several lines of research. Getting this list down is absolutely fundamental to sounding like a pro.
All right, our foundation is solid. Now we can start climbing up to level 2 of our pyramid. This is where things get really interesting. We're moving beyond just being grammatically correct. Now we're talking about developing your own academic voice, one that's clear, confident, and actually engaging to read.
You know, a lot of us learn to write by just copying the style of papers we've read. But listen to this great quote from the scholar Helen Sword. Academics who learn to write by imitation will almost inevitably pick up the same bad habits. Wow, that's a huge point. The goal isn't to sound super complicated by using dense language. The real goal is to communicate really complex ideas with total clarity.
And speaking of bad habits, here's a fantastic mythbuster from Sword's research. We've all been told, never use I or we in academic writing. It's not objective, right? Well, look at this. In her research, 100% of the evolutionary biology papers she looked at used the first person. Scientists are taking ownership of their work. Using I or we can actually make your writing clearer and more honest. It tells the reader exactly who's making the argument.
Of course, finding your voice also means knowing how to handle jargon. Look, jargon can be useful. It's like a shortcut for experts talking to other experts. But way too often, people use it to sound smart, and all it does is create a wall between them and their reader. So here's the key. Always ask yourself, does this word make my point clearer for my audience, or am I just making it harder to understand?
And maybe the most powerful tool for a strong voice? Using the active voice. Think about it. The passive phrase, a new method was developed, is kind of weak, a little indirect. Now, compare that to the active voice. We developed a new method. See the difference? It's direct, it's shorter, it's full of energy. It clearly says who did what, and it puts you right in the driver's seat of your own research.
And that brings us all the way to the top, the peak of our pyramid. We've got clean, precise sentences. We have a confident voice. So how do we put it all together to build an argument that actually persuades someone? This right here is where you really level up from student to scholar.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with your thesis statement. This is not just what your paper is about. It's your specific, arguable position on that topic. It's the one big claim that you're going to spend the whole rest of the paper proving. A great thesis is like a North Star for your writing. It guides every single word and every paragraph.
And building that argument, it's a step-by-step process. Your thesis is your destination, and your outline is your roadmap. Every point on that map has to be backed up with solid evidence from your research. But the real art is in how you weave that evidence in. You don't just drop quotes all over the place. You paraphrase and summarize to build this smooth, logical story that leads your reader right to your conclusion.
And that brings up such a crucial point about paraphrasing. It's not just about avoiding plagiarism. It's actually a test of your own understanding. I mean, think about it. If you can't explain an idea in your own words, do you really get it? When you paraphrase successfully, you're forced to really digest an idea and make it your own. That's the moment you stop just reporting what others have said and start building your own argument.
So, let's just take a step back and look at the journey we've taken. We've climbed from the basic building blocks of grammar all the way up to crafting a powerful, persuasive argument. This whole path really represents that incredible transition we all hope to make, from being a student to becoming a true scholar. It's about way more than a grade. It's about joining a real academic conversation.
So just remember those 3 levels of the pyramid. First, you have to master that foundation of precise, correct grammar. Then, on top of that, you build your own confident, clear, and active academic voice. And finally, you use that powerful voice to construct a rock-solid, evidence-based argument that adds something new and valuable to the field.
At the end of the day, all these skills are just tools. They're the tools that let you share your ideas, your discoveries, and your unique point of view with the rest of the world. They let you turn all that data and all those sources into a story that matters. So I guess the only question left to ask is, what story will your research tell?